big hex whale dumper, just as we expected, just like I talked about. He's dumping his hex. And I want to make this video topic about the fact that you have two ways to always frame any situation. It's actually your choice. And this is something that I'm sure we've all wasted a lot of time on, because you could always waste your time on thinking, what about this guy selling? What about that guy selling? Every single coin. Some people get trapped in this victimizing mentality of, oh, woe is me, and there's always going to be someone dumping. What's the point of it all? But if you actually had conviction, you could also look at this same situation and call it a buy the dip opportunity, position yourself with the V3 strategies I mentioned in my last video. But the topic of this is that if you're new to crypto, you might be making yourself miserable by prioritizing, thinking about all the opportunities that you missed out on, or all the things that could potentially go wrong, when that doesn't do anything. That attitude doesn't actually do anything for you at all. And sometimes you'd be better off just walking away, setting it and forgetting it, rather than looking at the screen, scrolling through Twitter, and thinking about how doomed everything is all the time. Because I noticed this with my own behavior. Obviously, I've been in crypto for 10 years, so I don't do this much anymore. But new people that I talk to, friends in real life, they like to focus on the winners and what they missed out on. And that's just really a loser victim mentality, where if you focus on the opportunity of selling yourself on the coins that you like, your future self will actually thank you. Because you choose how to frame things and you choose how to react to things. And once you realize that you have this power, crypto's actually going to get easier. If you just pick better programming for your brain, rather than, you could look at all these meme coins in the past. Let's take Fart Coin, right? One of the most hated rallies because it's so stupid that everyone that missed out on this is just angry. It's easy to just seethe. And we're all coping with the fact that, yeah, Fart Coin went up 69x. Wow. Poetic, isn't it? But then it dumped a whole bunch. Now it's back up again. And look, if you're trying to chase, if you have this chasing mentality, you're not going to make it. The whole thing about crypto is if you do what other people aren't doing and you stay in the game and you hold long term past the point where everyone else gives up, you're going to be wrong for a long, long time until you get that little 4 months or 6 months of euphoria where you get to be right. Okay. We're all playing for that time where we get to be right. And in the meantime, everyone's marketing, people are telling new people. The only way to get new money in is to tell new people and do marketing. And if you don't want to, that's fine. Some people don't want to do marketing, but then also don't do anti-marketing. Don't do the opposite of shaking yourself out, shaking out other people around you, just because your hands are weak or your psychology is weak. Okay. And if you don't believe, right, there's nothing stopping you from being in crypto. But I think a lot of people, especially when they're new, they offshore all of their conviction. They delegate all their conviction to someone else telling them. But the problem with that is that if you go online, you start scrolling Twitter for a couple hours, you're going to have tons of people telling you what to believe in, because we're all shilling our own bags. That's how this works. That's how crypto works. My bags are Hex, Pulse, PulseX, INC token, Most token, Top Hat token. But the thing about me is that I shill these for a long time, 5 years for Hex, okay? And a lot of other people in the community, the PulseChain community, is dedicated and actually locked in, right? Whereas a lot of people that are fighting for your attention out there on Twitter, on X, the fart coin influencers or whiff, right? Or whatever it is, bonk. These are only the ones that won. These are the ones that survived. And you want to make yourself really depressed. Focus on only the winners that you missed out on. And forget about the 999 losers for every one winner. Okay, that's how you make yourself depressed, absolutely, for sure. If you want to do that, if you want to be right, yes, you did miss out. Look, you missed out on a 94x on Bonk. You missed out on a 12x on Whiff. But these are silly flavor of the month meme coins. And if you want to be a victim or play what ifs, and I used to do this too. Oh, I should have bought Bitcoin for the last 5 months. Yeah, but you didn't. So you're right. You should have bought Bitcoin. You should have timed everything perfectly. You should have bought the exact low and sold the exact top. But now what? Okay, you're right. And now what? But like I said, we're all fighting to be right for that moment of time, at least the people with conviction. And everybody in crypto, this is the game. They buy their bags and they shill their own bags. That's all they do. But again, the sooner you can take personal responsibility for your own actions, instead of delegating all your thought process to influencers, ChatGPT, whatever it might be, if you have personal responsibility, self-sovereignty, and just owning your own choices, really internalizing them and realizing why you chose them based off of your own convictions, crypto is going to get exponentially easier for you. And you're going to be able to withstand this insanely volatile market that most people really just aren't cut out for, because they don't realize, yes, these coins can go down 80% and it can stay that way for a year before something pumps. And you have to choose, right? There's limited bandwidth, limited financial energy. All I can say for sure is that if you're chasing everything, you catch nothing, right? There's an old parable like the fox that chases many rabbits catches none. So I still think things are going to be better than we can possibly imagine. I know that the community within Hex and PulseChain, they're locked in, actually, physically in Hex by putting their money where their mouth is, betting for multiple years, an average of 9 years that people are locked into Hex, where I don't trust that the fart coin influencer is not going to jump ship to the next thing in a week or two. And you've got a lot of people within PulseChain that are also committed. Maybe they do rotate in the meme coin casino, but they all agree that this ecosystem as a whole is here to stay. And they're not trying to flash, the top 10, top 20 new, fresh meme coin shitters, every single week and just frying your dopamine at your expense. So if you're not creating your own narrative, you can get out there and tell people about why you want your coins to go up, why you think they're awesome. But if you're not the one telling the story, then you're just following somebody else's story, and everybody is vying for your attention. And it's gotten so saturated in crypto at this point that it's so easy to have basically a screen that looks like this. Okay. I'm not going to lie. My screen, sometimes it doesn't look this bad. My screen time, and take a look at your phone right now. Look at your screen time on X, on Telegram, whatever phantom wallet maybe. If you have more than like 4 or 5 hours a day, just consuming mindlessly, doom scrolling, try changing your behavior pattern. Your future self might thank you. This guy that spent 11 hours on X, do you think this guy's rich because he spent 11 hours on X consuming everybody's opinion? It's really, really detrimental. And I do this to myself too sometimes. If I start to get 2 or 3 or 4 hours, that's 4 hours of your life you're never getting back. And if you're on crypto, Twitter, crypto X, you're just scrolling through, hey, look at my thing, look at my thing, look at this chain, look at this real world asset token, whatever. You're never going to get ahead because you're always going to be chasing the shiny new coin. And so go back and look at all the things you missed. Sure, look at it all, feel the pain, but then realize, what is that really getting you? Crypto is insanely volatile. I'm betting on ETH going up, and then I'm betting that after ETH goes up, PulseChain's going to pump the core tokens, Hex, PulseX, INC token, maybe some meme coins on PulseChain. We're going to have a glorious euphoria period at some point in the future. And I think things are going to be better than most people can possibly imagine. I mean, look at the Ethereum Foundation. The community foundation had to take over and actually start talking about the price. Their entire mission is to drive ETH to 10K. We know the PulseChain Sacrifice wallet has 160,000 Ethereum, which at $10,000 would be over $1 billion worth of ETH. Imagine what they could do with that, okay? You really don't need to read between the lines too much there. Now, and if you're scared about crypto in general, just look at the adoption rates, okay? The math, the numbers, this is where you want to be in terms of an asset class. Crypto is not getting smaller. It's getting adopted at a faster rate than the internet. Okay, after the last 10 years, we've got 1 billion crypto users. After 10 years, there was only 500 million. Now, I don't know if we trust this 1 billion number. That seems a little high. They're probably just counting everybody with like $5 of Bitcoin in a Coinbase account. But just look at other people. Everybody's quoting similar crypto adoption metrics. It's getting adopted faster than the internet. But the reason that you have so much pain is because of this, your screen time and your what ifs and your endless, I should have done this, I should have done that. So again, if you're not telling a narrative or getting new people onto your coin and you're just chasing other people's narratives, you're doomed to consume, overcreate, and just basically get farmed. Your attention is getting farmed all the time. You're actually better off just deleting your social media, not even getting on Telegram, maybe buying this stuff and checking up on it every couple months, asking yourself, did my thesis change? If not, then we keep waiting. Yeah, waiting's hard, right? But if it was easy, everybody would be rich in crypto. The people getting rich on farming your attention are most of the time cabals, small groups of insiders. And of course, there's always going to be people too that bought in earlier than you. Yes, there's people that bought in earlier than you in Hex and PulseChain and PulseX. Right now in PulseChain and PulseX, the prices are almost as low as they're going to get. in my opinion. Of course, I could go lower, but if you're always focusing on, oh, there's a guy that dumped because he bought in earlier than me, that goes for any single coin. It's not going to change. And again, this goes back to you choosing to look at that as a negative or a positive, because you could look at all the people that already own Hex or PulseChain or PulseX, and you could say, well, okay, that's all just future sell pressure. Sure. Or you could say, this is a group of committed, locked-in people, and what if the cabal was actually a bunch of people that really, really want to push the number up? And that's what I see in the PulseChain ecosystem, is the so-called cabal of people that are financially incentivized to see the numbers go up. They actually do work for their bags, and they do focus on inclusion, getting more people in, not just maximum extracting for a 2-week pump and dump, which is like borderline illegal, but that's not the point. Just realize at the end of the day that if you take personal responsibility, if you manage your screen time, you can do simple tricks. Like for this situation, if you're a 10 hours a day on Twitter guy, you could automate your phone to be black and white. You know, you could do like the triple click to make your phone black and white. And then guess what? Your phone gets really boring and you don't even want to look at it anymore. Or this is something that I do, is I just turn off all the badge notifications. Like, you know, the little red dot icon? Because if every time you open your phone and you got 50 on Telegram and 50 on the red dot on Twitter, and then you've got your text messages and your emails, I don't know how people live like that. Actually, I've had my notifications off on my phone, and that's something that takes 5 seconds to do on your phone, where you don't feel like you always have to be checking it and you're sucked into this attention vortex of other people's stuff. So take control of the story. Otherwise, it's going to take control of you. We could play what ifs all day. You can be right all you want on the should have done that, should have, would have, could have. And you are right. You did miss out on everything that went up, but we're playing this game in PulseChain for the asymmetric play of we get to be right one day. We're wrong all the times that it's down, and it's still down after 2 years, 80 to 75% down from sacrifice rates. But being right for that one period, whether it's 2026 or sometime later, we hope is going to make up for all the times of being suppressed, while you get to watch, the 1 in 1,000 meme coin outperformance that maybe if you get lucky, you catch one. But you don't get rich by chasing the tops and buying the tops. You buy things when people hate them, when they're depressing, when they're contrarian. And then by the time everyone else is asking to get in, you'll have been positioned to capture a maximum amount of the gains. Something goes up 100x, but you wait till it goes up 10x in order to buy in, and you only capture 10x remaining. Whereas if you capture the full 100x, you're going to be a lot happier exponentially in the long run. So we've got Bitcoin at new all-time high today, $12,000. We've got Ethereum tapping 2,800. I'm optimistic for the future, kind of in the disbelief phase myself, but look at BlackRock. Look at all the institutions, all the ETFs. Bitcoin mining companies are buying Ethereum. Just don't make this beginner mistake of comparing yourself to the needle in the haystack. If yes, you should have timed the market perfectly. It's defeating, it's victimizing, and it's not going to matter if you're holding now for that conviction play, that time period where you get to be so right that nobody else can even say anything, and you don't even care because you got that 100x because you did the hard thing. So I hope this was helpful. Forgive yourself a little bit and stop making yourself miserable doing this thing that a lot of people in real life, my friends, still do. The moment you can stop doing this, crypto is going to get so much more easier. Personal responsibility, trust that it's going to work out, and work to onboard, or stop torturing yourself by getting sucked in to everything else. A lot of people are better off just stepping away from social media altogether. But if you want that daily entertainment, just know that with that daily entertainment comes the risk of you getting pulled, and your precious attention, the only resource you have, getting pulled in a million directions. If you're not fit to understand what you're doing and have a path to cut through all that noise, find the signal, then you're going to have a bad time. Good luck out there, guys. Like, subscribe, share. See you on the next one.